Hey gang, so I don't really have a script for this one. Just going to go over a few of the new items that we've had that I haven't touched on. Today actually coincides with Pirate Week, so I thought it might be fun to take a little dive into their Pirate Week sale and then go on to medical gameplay, kind of give my thoughts on that, and then look at the extras pack they're releasing for CitCon. So if that sounds good, let's get into it. So, to start with, Pirate Week sale is up. It's usually the same three ships, which I think we're seeing right here. So, maybe four if they're including the Ursa. So we've got the Corsair, the Valkyrie, the Avenger Titan, or any of the Avenger series, and the Ursa. They come with a special paint job. Looks like they've upgraded a little bit. That looks like a better skull than last year. A little bit more spray painted on than anything else. So that's kind of cool. Kind of showing off a little bit of Starwear in here, I think. You can't get that suit, I don't think. That bandana, you can wear hats. The turtle. Man, they've got to make the turtle able to be moved around. But we got to keep going. So let's scroll on down here. So they always have so they've got the paints for these four ships. Yep, it's those four. They usually have a sort of like a scavenger hunt, and it looks like they're doing the same thing this year. So look around for clues, find a thing, and then you can get something that gets it working. Usually by day 2, somebody's actually solved the thing, so you can just go on Reddit or Facebook or on Spectrum and get the answer and do it that way. But it is kind of fun to kind of figure these things out. So actually, let's go ahead and open this in another image here. Hoist yourself up a spire reaching for the clouds, or Cutter's Rig, where X be planted on the lone peak of Odell, guide ye to the six ye seek. Where memories fade and whispers hiss, never mind, the treasure be not the stacks, but on the flank. And where the senior keeps the cipher, the secrets be yours to claim. So Cutter's Rig is on Hurston. There's definitely a big tower there that's flaring. Lone peak of Odell, guide ye to the six you seek. Interesting. So, unfortunately, that is very much an open area where people regularly gauge in PvP. So, proceed with caution. That's still kind of cool. So you got a little scavenger hunt there. It'll keep going. Pirate's code. So you've searched high and low from stand to pyro, fancy. So it's going to be 6 numbers or something that you gather from this. You enter it here and then you get a cool little piece. I think last year it was like a, was it a mug or something like that in game? But anyway, kind of cool. Y'all bellies beware, pirate swarm, arena commander. So yeah, you can just do arena commander. Of course, they have a spectrum sort of competition thing. Pirate paints, so you could get limited time pack, duelist pirate starter pack, $80. Oh no, $60. So 75 is crossed out. Thinking, for whatever reason, I read that as 80 and I was like, ooh, wow, you could pay an extra $5 for it. Nice. Thanks, CIG. That is not the case. So again, Avenger Titan that comes with the paint, the SolarWinds paint, digital download of, I assume, the game. No Squadron 42. So they stopped putting Squadron 42 with these, but 24-month insurance, 12 years, which honestly, if you're flying an Avenger Titan for 2 years straight, you'll be ready for something else. Anyway, that is that one. And then, of course, it's got sort of a similar thing with the Cutlass. Looks like it comes with the Clash armor set there. So $100 for a Cuddy, not bad. Not bad. Cuddy is typically the one of these two ships, if somebody is just getting into the game and they have more than $30, I usually say get one of these two ships. Like if you got a little bit more money, get the Cuddy. If you have a little less money, get the Titan. That's a pretty good mix. So here's the entire paint collection for nearly $100. Oh my God. Okay. How many paints does that come with? Asgard Corsair Avenger. Oh, no. Okay, it keeps going. I was about to say 4 paints for $100 is a bit steep. But no, it looks like you got Asgard, Corsair, Avenger, Ursa, Scorpius, Vulture, Manus, M50, Hercules, which is C2, M2, A2, Ares, which is the Ion and the Inferno, Eclipse, MSR. MSR might be kind of cool. Vanguard, Gladius, Avenger. Didn't they already have Avenger up here? Yeah, they got Avenger there. Oh, it's the different paint, the Solar Winds paint. And then the Skull and Crossbones paint for the Cutlass Black, which I think is always available. So if you're really into paints, that's actually not terrible. Actually, that's, if you're into paints, that's like a $50 savings right there. Is it worth it? I don't know. Yeah, it's up for you to decide. You're a grown-ass adult. Meridian paints I always think are cool. I've got the one for the MSR, which is kind of nice. I don't know. I might pick up the Skull Crusher paint for the Ursa of all things. The other ones aren't really doing it for me, but they might do it for you. Anyway, you got the Pirate Week Treasure Pack, which is, let's see if it'll open it. There it goes. So yeah, you get the 2 armor sets and the containers that you can sort of see in the background, which containers might be funny. Is it $25 funny? I don't know. And then you've got the couches. Do they have a bed? No heart-shaped bed. Well, that's awful. Anyway, ships there on for sale. And when I say for sale, I mean they are selling them, not that they are cheaper than they normally are. That would be the starter packs up here. But anyway, got the A2, got the Inferno, the Ion, the Asgard, which is new to the mix. Avenger Warlock, C2, Caterpillar, Corsair, Cuddy Black, which I think is always available. Cuddy Blue, which is not. Eclipse, Gladius Pirate Edition, which I think it comes with a slightly different default loadout, but it's mostly the paint that people are getting it for. Is the paint worth an extra $20? I don't know. I'll leave that for you. And then we're up to the M2, M50, which is kind of a fun little racer. The Manus, I'm really surprised they aren't doing the Meteor. But I guess this one's more of an interdiction ship, so makes sense for pirates. MSR, Scorpius. Wow, this is a big sale. Scorpius and Antares, Ursa, Harbinger, Sentinel, Vulture, and we're back. That's 23 vehicles on this sale. That is CIG might be hurting for money. And then they've got CCU deals on both of these, War Bond CCU deals. But anyway, that's Pirate Week. It's always a little fun thing that they do in September. We're going to be getting a patch pretty soon. So actually, let's go ahead and jump into medical. So one thing that I noticed on the medical page, and this is the basic one, this is the one that they did a few months back, where they're just talking about the different pens. It might have been a year back, in the tiers and stuff like that. One of the things I am really hoping comes with the next level of medical, which we're apparently getting with the Apollo, is this right here. So if you don't know, this is called a fireman's carry, and it would be super, super, super useful to be able to do this. We actually had an example last, on the Carnival's last Friday. One of our people was downed and we were trying to drag them over to a med bed, but we had to drop them off a shelf so that they could get down to the area where the med bed was. And trying to maneuver the body while you're dragging it and drop it off that edge was pretty much impossible. Whereas if the person were on your shoulders, pretty easy, and you can move faster. You probably couldn't move at a sprint, but you can move at a jog. I have moved with a 230-pound person thrown over my shoulders, and I was able to jog, and I could conceivably use one of my arms if I wanted to with a gun or something like that, which you can also do while you're dragging. You can use a pistol. I don't know if you know that or not. But little aside there, I kind of wish that we had this capability, especially since they're showing a picture of it. That would be a really, really nice quality of life thing. But anyway, this was the original thing. Wow, that was a little bit of a digression. Anyway, if you look up here, you might miss that they've put life, death, and life again beyond 431 up here. And if you click on that tab, you go here. And this is where they're kind of talking about what the next tier of medical gameplay is going to be. And I'm glad this is probably mostly coming with 431. A lot of it's already in the PTU, which is open PTU as of this recording. They're going to be dropping it with the Apollo probably start of next week, if I had to guess. I'm sure they're aiming for this weekend, but I doubt they'll actually hit that. They're still kind of trying to balance a few things, which I will get to in a second. So medical gameplay, like other systems within the Star Citizen universe, such as mining and salvage, is not a standalone endeavor with overall development of the project. It is inexorably and essentially linked with several other systems in the actor status systems, scanning, FPS traversal, beacons, and more. And they are not kidding. So for 431, you're going to have this little health and healing. The big thing that they're adding is you've now got goo that you got to add to your medical beds. And if it's a tier 1 bed, which again is the highest, you'll be able to heal and respawn people more than you would with a tier 3. With a tier 3, I think you can bring someone back to life in the latest patch 2 times. But keep in mind that if anyone is healing on that bed, they're using the same goo. So if you have like 5 people heal up from however much, and you're not replacing the goo, someone might not be able to respawn there. And that's where this comes in. So if a player is injured, goes to a med bed, does the med bed have conditions, which means, does it have goo? Yes. Does the player and or bed meet conditions? Yes, it heals the player. I'm not sure what the conditions are there. New conditions may limit regeneration, such as cooldown timers or regeneration limits before re-registration of imprint is required. And it is probably not an accident, I've said this before, that 431 is going to be the conclusion of the regeneration storyline, which is dropping with the Apollo. So they're likely going to have that these goo beds are the solution that humanity has come up with of, hey, now we've got it working again, but now it doesn't just work forever. You have to use this goo. So it'll be an in-lore way of introducing the next level of game mechanic. I would hope they go that route. So regeneration, same thing. If the bed doesn't have enough goo, then you're going to default to your next location. I'm not sure if you pick another location means that while you are in-capped or regenerating, it'll say, this is your first choice. It doesn't go there. Where's your second choice or third choice? Like you might say, I just want to go back to my starting location. Or you could say, I'm in Pyro and my starting location is Lorville. I want to respawn at Checkmate. I don't want to respawn back in Lorville, or it's going to take me like 30 minutes to get back to the action, get back to my party or whatever. So that is a quality of life. I hope they're going that direction. So multiple imprints at once. This is what suggests that kind of is. The first key to this will be to allow you to have multiple imprints at different locations simultaneously, allowing you a tactical choice upon incapacitation if no help is available, of choosing where you regenerate next. These choices will fall into one of 4 categories: its landing zone, ship, home base, and temporary. Temporary being at like an on-site location, like the AST locations or something like that. But those multiple imprints mean right now you have one imprint location. So if you fly out and you set your location to your NERSA, then if the NERSA gets blown up, you're going all the way back to your home base, no matter where you are in the verse, which is not ideal. But in this case, you'll be able to say, I want an imprint at, say, my home base is Lorville. So there, I will always have an imprint there. But I also want one at Everest Harbor, and I want one at Orison, and I want one at Checkmate over in Pyro, and this. And now all of a sudden you'll be able to say, this is where I want to go because it's more advantageous to me to do it. So that's what those multiple imprints at once are. Is that going to be implemented in 4.3.1? It sure seems like it, but that is a huge quality of life because there's nothing more disruptive to a game session, whether you're solo or playing with a group, to respawn somewhere super far away from the action. And at that point, I wouldn't say everybody, but most people just sort of say, yeah, guys, it's going to take me 30 minutes to get my ammo and everything. Just go ahead and go without me. And by then they're 30 minutes further into whatever they're doing. And most people will just log or kind of do their own thing, I've noticed. Medbed conditions. So there's the conditions they were talking about earlier. Manual med gel, auto med gel. Medbed requires med gel to function, but will automatically restock at a set rate. No one can manually restock this unit. So that is probably going to be, I would guess that would be like buildings or stations and stuff like that would do the auto med gel. Manual med gel will be on ships, would be my guess. Ships or outposts that players create. Temporary imprint, regenerate timer. This is new. So you may only regenerate at this location once every X time frame. Timer is individual to each person. Delete imprint, we kind of have that now. Enable by event, which this bed is only made functional by an event occurring or you performing a specific action. So location dependent. Disabled by event, disabled by distortion, that's new. Disabled by soft death, which is also new. Obviously, these are ship related. Could be base related once we start building our own ships, is if you are attacking a base and the people defending the base are just respawning and respawning and respawning, it might be advantageous to you. It would certainly be advantageous to you to attack their regeneration point with disruption guns so that they can't respawn there. And now all of a sudden they're stuck saying, oh crap, we've got to respawn at the Endeavor Hope or the local station. And now they're stuck with like a 5 to 10 to 30 minute wait before they can get back in the action. You can actually take the base. It's the thought, if you were so inclined. UEC fees invalidated by distance. Player defined UEC fees. That's kind of cool because that is going to make this an actual loop. People can be medics in the game and make more than 15K. You could say, yeah, I'm hovering right over the combat zone. You can respawn here. It'll cost you 100K. A lot of people will probably do that. Permission editable. Obviously, orgs will be doing that. Destructible. The bed can be destroyed, so the imprints are lost. Marley has opinions about that. And then permissions, only you, everyone, friends, party members, org members. That last one is enormous. Changes to the regeneration interface. So this is interesting. So when you go down, I'm assuming this is kind of a mock-up of what it looks like. Right now, you kind of get the slowly turning 3D, or yeah, sort of third-person view of, actually, no, it's a first-person view, and you just kind of blink really slowly, and everything's gray, and you can't really see a lot. Now, it looks like it's going to be a third-person view, which is a little bit of a cheat. I would recommend, maybe they're not going to let you go third-person anymore, because that was a huge benefit. If you were out, you could be like, hey, there's 3 guys around me, they've got a gun. Hang on. Where was I? Yeah, UI. So the UI will, now it looks like it's going to be a third person view just of your body. Hopefully with a little less kind of cheaty action. So you can't quite look around and be like, hey, this person's hiding here. He's kind of overlooking my body. He's going to snipe you when you come around the corner. You could do that before. Hopefully you won't be able to do that now because it is a little bit cheaty. But now you're going to get all of these locations that pop up. And again, there's a mock-up. This isn't probably what it's going to end up looking like, but it might in the first iteration, where you can say, I want to click here. I want to go to this base as opposed to this vehicle because that vehicle is overrun or it's being disrupted or whatever. So you'll be able to pick, I want to go where this imprint is, which is what we were saying earlier. So here we go. Elements, game chat. Game chat is still accessible while incapacitated. I think it shouldn't be. Incapacitated, although that is how you request people to come and pick you up. I don't know. I think they need to kind of examine that one. Incapacitated info, incapacitated text is moved away from the bottom of the screen to make room for a regeneration bar, which is this thing. Regeneration options, so hold X seconds to activate. From left to right, landing zone, primary vehicle, home base, temporary rescue beacon. Regeneration conditions, displays any conditions, which I think is, yeah, like unavailable there. Deploy beacon. Initiates the flow for deploying a rescue beacon. I wonder if we're actually getting the rescue beacons in this patch. That'd be interesting. Minimize. The regeneration bar can be minimized, giving you a better view of your surroundings if revived by companion is anticipated and regeneration is unneeded. Again, hoping they kind of cut down on that a little bit, because being killed shouldn't give you an advantage of any kind. Rescue beacon. Since the launch of 4.0, the rescue beacon system has suffered from several legacy design elements that are waiting to be updated. Yeah, they're talking about all the things. While we can provide no dates or estimates for when these fixes and additions will arrive, we want to acknowledge that we're aware of the issue and reiterate our intention that these issues will be addressed on our road to 1.0. Keep in mind that the rescue beacon is actually a physical thing. So I'm sure them physicalizing it is one of the things they're doing. A note to first responders of the many aspects that excite us about the universe we continue to build. Each and every release, medical gameplay, and specifically the role of first responders in the verse is something that inspires many of us to continue bringing these factors to life. This right here is probably the new suit that we're going to get with the Apollo. So when the Apollo drops, I wouldn't be shocked if we get all three of these, but this will be the new one, like a special utility suit just for first responders. You can see that it's Morozkov on the base, but you could tell there's armor plates on the left side more than the right. The chest plate is new. The helmet, you could get versions of this helmet in the game, but they weren't medical specific. So yeah, this armor is going to be dropped with the Apollo when it drops within the next 10 days, I'd say. So that is it for now. Let's go ahead and jump into the digital goodies pack. So quite a few things this time. I think on the last one, it was a suit of armor and like 2 or 3 little items, but this time it's 2 armor sets, a new undersuit, which you can see here, a flight suit with actually this looks like a flight suit and helmet, new jacket, and many content creators have been pointing out that if you, well, it's not letting me zoom in, but you can tell that this design here and the 51 on the helmet match up very nicely with the Paladin, which is right here. And I believe, yeah, you can kind of see it right there. I think there's a better picture that shows off that paint. Yeah, you can sort of see it right there. So yeah, there's the 51. There's the paint right there. So the Paladin is probably dropping, I would think, IAE, which is also not that far off at this point, but they might be dropping the Apollo and the Paladin on us in 4.3.1. I would think they would hold off the Paladin until 4.3 or until IE, but I could be wrong. But anyway, 2 new armor sets, which you can kind of see there's dudes hiding in the background. New undersuit, new flight suit with helmet, new jacket. So this guy's probably wearing the jacket. 3 FPS weapons, which are they Volt weapons? I don't know. Challenge coin, a trophy, new decor 1, 2, and 3, which I don't know what that is. Seats or something, or maybe a poster, but who knows. But gang, that is it. One thing I was hoping for, if you see this guy in the background with the 4 lights, I'm pretty sure that is the, oh, what do you call it? I think it's the Pembroke armor that has those 4 lights on it, or it might be the, that Pembroke helmet pops up a lot. This is a subscriber. You can see this one's a subscriber store. So, I mean, wouldn't be completely beyond the pale, but I'm pretty sure those 4 lights are like that. But what I was hoping it was, is that they would eventually roll out this armor, which looks like the Predator. Would be awesome. This is a concept image they rolled out. God, 6 years ago, something like that. I think it was Jay Lee did these, and he's not even with CIG and hasn't been since they made the jump across the pond. He jumped it sometime, I think like 21 or 22 at the latest. But yeah, this armor is one that I've waited on. That is pretty cool looking. Walk around looking like a Predator. But anyway, gang, that's all I got for this one. Let me know what you think down below. If you think I'm off base with these, if you think that I missed something really significant in there. I was going through it kind of fast for obvious reasons. I didn't want this to be a 5-hour long in-depth video. Tomorrow, Benoit is on. I was going to do a live stream, which usually I can't do those because they come on pretty early in the morning on work days, but I have got the day off, so, or at least a half day off in the morning, so I'll actually be able to participate in it. I was going to do a live show, so tune in for that. Other than that, that's all I got, gang. Catch you next time.